when I talk about cap rate in the self-storage investing world, right? Right, we'll just put cap rate here so you guys can kind of get an idea. Now we're talking about commercial real estate investing. And if you own a multifamily property and you have no idea what your cap rate is, then you need to educate yourself on how to run commercial deal analysis. When I first bought my first storage facility, I had no idea about cap rate at all. I just like, oh, that looks like a good deal. Let's just buy it, But I didn't know how to run the numbers. I didn't know if it was a good deal or not. Luckily, it turned out to be a really good deal. But I've consulted with many people that thought they were getting into good deals, and they didn't know how to run the numbers properly. And then they screwed themselves over. We don't want to do that. All right. We want to learn how to run commercial deal analysis, right? So if you want to be a true self-storage investor, you have to learn how to run commercial deal analysis. Okay. So that means you have to learn like what your cash on cash return is, what your ROI is. You have to learn at what the cap rate is, how you calculate it. So I'm just going to give you a basic overview of what cap rate is. Okay. So you can kind of have an idea. And the cap rate is, it kind of intertwines with how you're going to look for your facilities, right? Looking for your facilities and then running your deal analysis, right? So Brian says, multifamily was the stepchild when I entered. I was fortunate to agree to an off-market offer. And yes, I knew the cap rate was eye-popping. Yes, good, awesome. And then Terrico says, houses are expensive right now. It's a seller's market. Yes. Oh my gosh, houses are so, even right now, we're about to renovate the house that we live in. And so I was like, okay, we'll just like, I was like, okay, should I just go buy another house? We can move into that one and then we can just stay there and then we can renovate this one and then we can renovate the other one and then sell it or whatever. But I was like, oh, I don't really feel like living in some nasty house and I don't want to be spending a lot of money because guess what? I'm an investor and I'm cheap. All right. I like to buy cheap houses. I like to buy good deals. I'm not going to go spend my money on some house. And so I was like, okay, we'll just go rent this apartment. I started calling all these apartments around. And it's like for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment here in the Atlanta, like I'm in North Georgia mountains. This is not even the Atlanta market. It's like $1,500 to $2,000 a month for an apartment. I was like, what? $1,500? Because we bought our house like outright, the one that we live in. We just paid cash for it. So I have like no mortgage. And I'm like, so now I'm going from this like no mortgage to like $2,000 a month like place, and it just like hurts my heart so much. Oh my gosh, but like I'm telling you, affordable housing, if you decide to get into the houses side and not the commercial side, you have to get into affordable housing. There is not enough housing in the world that is actually affordable right now. And I'm going to tell you, over the course of the next couple of years, there's going to be a serious crisis about this crisis, right? I was down, like we have a storage facility in Valdosta, Georgia, if anybody knows where that's at. It's like right on the border, like Florida, Georgia borders where it's at. And like that town, you can still find property for, like you can find a house. Like I was like, okay, my goal, I was like, maybe I'll just do like a house down here and we'll just move down to Valdosta, while I renovate our other house. I started looking, you can buy houses for like $25,000 to $50,000 that need like a little bit of work. Some of them a little bit more than others, but you could, like, some of them are livable, and you can still buy houses down there for like, and like $100,000 is like an awesome price for a house, right? So guess what? Everybody is moving to Valdosta. Everywhere that you drive in Valdosta is like new construction everywhere. Everywhere, new construction. And houses are starting at the 125s to the 175s. I mean, that's affordable housing. So those houses, when does anybody live in a town like this? I'm just wondering, but that is a very good place to look for storage facilities, because it's going to be like, and I was looking at there's like some data that came out from one of the self-storage companies. And this is a very good tip for anybody that's interested in investing in self-storage, is to look at the data that these huge companies put out. Guess what? All they're doing is looking at migration patterns, moving patterns of where people are moving to and from. Right. So like CubeSmart, Public Storage, all these huge storage facilities, they study the migration patterns. And guess what? I said this to my students in the coaching program, is that they're moving from California to Texas, or California to like Oregon, Idaho, or Washington. They're moving from New York to Florida. And they're moving like, and so that's why Texas is just growing so fast, because everybody's like, all these people from the West are moving to Texas. And then all the people from the Northeast are moving down south. But what's happening that has never really happened before is that all these people are migrating within the states, right? So now, like, we're in this virtual world where people are like, yeah, I can be remote. So I don't have to live in Atlanta. So I can live in Valdosta, and I can cut all of my bills in half, if not more, by moving and living in a house that's $100,000 instead of a $300,000 house. And then cutting my cost in living in half as well too, and then save that money. And all these people from like all of these cities, and you guys tell me where you're from, right? Where are people moving to? That's what you've got to start researching and looking at. And I teach my students in my coaching program about population. And you have to, if you want to invest in self-storage, you have to learn how to look at migration patterns within wherever you want to invest, and the population, right, of how these towns or suburbs or cities or counties or wherever you're looking are migrating and growing and gentrifying and, and changing, right? Because this is really key to where you have to be investing in. So most of the time, wherever you live is not where your storage facility is going to be that you buy your first one. We live in the way North Georgia mountains, up close to the Carolinas. And we invest all over Georgia, and everything that we own except for one facility is like 2 hours or more away from us, at least 2 hours or more away. And this is another thing, because I just talked to a student that basically like was talking to a friend that was like, yeah, I want to get into, self-storage. And he's like, I've been looking for like 1.5 years, 2 years. I can't find anything. And she's like, well, where are you looking? He's like, I'm looking in this, and it's like someplace in Ohio. She lives in Ohio. And she was talking to like somebody else, maybe in like a RIA or whatever. And they're like, yeah, I want to buy a self-storage too. I've been looking all over. And he's only been looking for the past 1.5 years, 2 years, like within a 30-minute radius of where he lives. And he can't find anything to buy. And I'm like, well, duh, because it's probably too many storage facilities there in the first place. So you have to learn how to look at the populations of your cities. All right, in the areas, and where are they growing and where are they not growing, right? And that's kind of, you have to research this. You have to truly research this. True investors know their area, like their state, and all of the migration patterns of their state like the back of their hand. If you want to be a storage investor, you have to know migration patterns of wherever you want to be investing in. And there is nothing wrong at all, nothing wrong with you living in one area and investing in another area that's far away, and it's totally doable. I get this question all the time. Can I live in Louisiana and invest in Mississippi? Or can I live, like I know a storage facility owner that lives in Pennsylvania and only invests in Louisiana, right? And the reason why is because he can't afford, the stuff that he can afford stuff in Pennsylvania, but it's like half the price, down in Louisiana, you know what I'm saying? So totally doable, because what you're going to do if you really truly want to be a self-storage investor is that you have to learn how to manage your property so that they are passive income. And that's what we do. That's what me and my husband do. That's what I said. We traveled last year. We traveled like 6 months. We literally traveled. So the whole world like crashed, came down, COVID happened. And guess what? We took off and traveled the country for 3 months straight. And we went to we went all to the Northwest, in 16 different national parks. And then we went to Tampa I went to Tampa for a month and went to Maryland for 2 months. We were not in Georgia hardly at all, like maybe 3 months out of the whole entire year. And it's because we've set our facilities up so that they just run themselves. And we have like a boots on the ground person. We have like an office manager that kind of manages all of our facilities. Yes, all of them. One office manager to manage all of them. We have almost 1,000 doors. Okay. And we have about 1,000 doors. And then we have a boots on the ground person to manage all that as well too. And they just kind of do all that for us. So, and the truth of the matter is the farther away that your facilities are, the better you're going to be at managing them, right? Because you're gonna be like, shit, I can't, oh my God, this happened. What am I gonna do? I can't do a drive over there. So internally, you're gonna have to figure out how to set this up and how to get your systems and automate and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like when somebody calls us and they're locked out, and they want to get their stuff right now, it's like, sorry, our dude only comes once a week on Wednesdays to your facility. That's just how it works. You had plenty of time to pay your bill, but now we'll be there in a week, so that's what I'm talking about. Learn how to manage your facilities so that they're completely hands-off, completely passive, just like I had that little circle. I like to draw a lot of circles, as you can see, right? So cap rate. So when you start looking for your facilities, right? So you're gonna say, how do I get started investing in self-storage, right? So now you're going to get out there and start looking for your facilities. You have to understand commercial deal analysis. So I'm going to go deeper into commercial deal analysis on Thursday. So hopefully you also signed up for the webinar on Thursday that I'm going to have. And it's just how to fund your deals, right? But so this one is how to get started. And the next one's how to fund your deals. And I'm just going to go into all the different ways the thing that people always ask me about is where can I find good deals? And how do you fund your deals? And exactly what Tarico just asked is how much money do you need to get started? All right. And so we are going to get into that, and I can get into that a little bit later. I want to show you real fast, how to start looking, you know what I'm saying? So that people can start. Is anybody here actually looking for storage facilities? And if you have, how have you been looking? And if you tell me that you've been looking online for storage facilities, I'm going to tell you that you are probably never, ever going to find a storage facility to buy, because guess what? All the hedge funds are looking. All the experienced storage facility owners are looking online. And guess what? All you folk out there that have no idea how to even look for storage facilities are looking online. So the best way for you to find storage facilities is to go to the owner directly, face to face, and talk to the owner, right? Or Zoom to Zoom, or however you want to talk to the owner, but you have, or on the phone, but you have to talk to the owner. Nobody but the owner. Okay. Other than that, you can't, it's just too, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Okay. To find storage facilities online.